I think this is your moment. I think this is your moment to shine.
Should I go for it?
You should go for it. This is the intro,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay. We are Jimmy Snow. We carry the line. Welcome to Calling It
Oh,
Now.
I like how you changed it there. Yes. Lighter.
Wait, yeah. We are Jimmy Snow. We carry the line. I wish I knew any of the other words, but
I
unfortunately
don't.
I
I
don't.
think you know the exact appropriate amount, and that worked out perfectly for us. Everybody, welcome to Calling It Now. This is Jimmy Snow's show, and Jimmy's not here because the girlies have taken over.
Woohoo!
Uh, I am Promise. This is Alyssa. We'll be hosting today, and we're taking calls. Well, we're taking whatever calls we want to take, but we would love to, at least I would love to take calls from if you're MAGA and you think that we should also be MAGA as women. Like if you think there's something about being a conservative, Republican, MAGA, whatever, anything around that, that us women should, find compelling, please call in and let us know. If you
Yes.
think I should want to live in Trump's America as a woman, tell me why. Call in. Um, I would also be down to take calls talking about the title of our show, Virginity is Fake News. And if there's any theists that feel like calling in and telling us why we should believe in a God, especially as women, then I'd love to hear that one. Alyssa, what kind of calls would you like to take today?
I don't know. Okay, actually, have you been watching the show Couples Therapy?
A little bit. A little bit.
It's
Just like
my,
little clips here and there. Sorry, I have something in my eye, so I'll be battling that. But continue.
oh my gosh. Okay, so the new season has a couple, and one of them is a Trump supporter, and the other one is like super liberal.
Yes, I saw little bits there.
And honestly, it's worth watching like the first couple episodes of season 5 just to like see them interact. Partially because you actually get like a behind the curtain look at this couple that like I don't think when I first saw him, I definitely had some like preconceived feelings, notions about him. And
Sure.
as it's moved on, I feel like I have a better understanding of like where his mind is at. But it is really interesting. And I do wonder like if you fell in love with a person and then found, well, I mean, and this literally happened to me, but if you fell in love with a person and then you found out later that they were like, they wanted to support Trump, what would you do?
It,
Especially if you were married. If you're just dating the person, that's one thing. But if there's paperwork
you're
involved,
you're talking to the person that does not hesitate to get a divorce. So, I fear that it would come down to that. I mean, I think the only way that could happen to me is if it's basically like what has happened to me. I think one of my ex-husbands is a like hardcore Trump, Charlie Kirk fan,
Mm,
all of that. Um, but I changed my mind about a lot of stuff, and like we were already getting a divorce for other reasons. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I could not be with somebody that is supporting values that I don't find to be values. And so when I met my person on Hinge, my profile specifically said something about like, if you like Trump, please do not even bother. Um, and so I think that that helped
Yeah.
rule some people out. But that's how, I don't know. What about now? Like if you were back, God forbid, if you were thrown back into the dating world right now, would that be a first date question for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
100% it would be a first date
Yeah.
question for me because
It would
there's
be
no
like a
way.
before date question for me,
Yeah.
apparently. So,
100%. And well, because and the woman on couples therapy says this, and I think this is like really kind of the whole thing. He says to her, like, I don't know why politics comes in between us all the time. And she goes, it's your morals, it's your values. It's not like politics, it's all of it. And I
Great.
watched, yeah, like I watched Orna, the therapist on she was on Las Culturistas, the podcast. And so she was talking about that couple specifically. And she said it's always weird to her when she comes across couples who say that they don't want to talk about politics because you are talking about politics every single day. Like it's in everything that you do. It's everywhere. Ooh, it's everywhere. So like you think you're not talking about politics, but you are.
Yep. Yep. It is, especially when it comes to something like this, because in the US, our politics are so, unfortunately, in a black and white place where you're kind of either supporting like some of the worst stuff,
Hmm.
or you're saying, like, yeah, I'm not cool with that.
Right.
Whereas in other places, like here in Finland, there's a lot more nuance that people are able to have with politics. I
Yeah.
mean, there's also not it's not a two-party system. So you can't be like, well, unless you're voting for that person, then, we're not cool. But in the US, it really is that black and white for me. Now, if somebody wants to call in and try to change our minds and tell us why, as women, we should be super excited about Trump being president, we love taking those calls. But we'll also take calls on other things. If you want to call in on abortion, if you want to call in on tell us why body count matters,
Mm,
we love that call.
we
Or
love that call.
if you think that Christianity is especially good for women and better than anything else, or Islam, any of that,
Ooh,
let's
yeah.
let's have that conversation.
Yeah, duke it out with us. I would like to know. Have you seen the movie Obsession yet?
No, but I wanted to hear your thoughts because everybody's talking about it. I thought it was just like some weird, scary movie, but apparently
It
there's more depth to it than that.
There is more depth to it than that. I keep trying to like fix my color because I look so weird and I don't know what's happening, but so apologies if my color is like shifting, but I'm trying to get it to look normal. Anyway, um okay, I made a whole 40-minute long video on obsession
I need
because
to watch it.
I had so many thoughts. And at first when I started filming it, I was like, I don't think this is even gonna be long. This is like kind of a waste. We'll see. Maybe if I could get like 15 minutes of video down. Yap Tina Aguilera like I was ever gonna be brief, please. For the first time in my life being brief. Okay. Um so I loved it. It was really interesting because like basically it's about this guy who has a crush on a girl but is too shy, awkward, whatever to like say anything to her. Um and just got a very cool text. Okay.
I just saw
And
that too.
that's cool. Um, and so he has this like wait, what is it called? Wishing willow stick, one wish willow, I don't know, whatever. And he wishes that she loves him more than anyone else in the world, breaks the stick, and then she just like, as time goes, she gets crazier and crazier.
Oh,
Um, and obviously, like it ends up basically being like a possession story, but not in like a biblical way. And so what it boils down to is this guy who was not willing to like be honest about his feelings and instead took away the bodily autonomy of a person. And then as the story goes, and she's obviously insane. There's like a phone number on the back of the box, and he calls it and he's like, how do I change my wish? He doesn't ask to cancel the wish. He doesn't ask to reverse it. He wants to change it so that she still loves him, but not more than anyone else in the entire world. And it just makes me so mad.
I have to see it now. I
You have
literally
to.
was like, I don't know that that looks interesting. And then I heard your little
Good.
snippet talking about it. So,
It's good. It's worth
uh,
it.
I'm also wondering if we should change the banner. Uh,
Ooh.
I don't know exactly what to, but maybe like, uh, is MAGA good for women? Question mark, question mark. Maybe if we would put a question mark, people will be less scared to call in.
Yeah.
What's been happening is people are scared to call and talk to us because there are no more good, there not there ever were, but
Hmm.
there's just like no arguments to compel women I think specifically, to care about this administration at all in any kind of positive way. Um, there's continues to be no good reason for us to believe in a God or practice Christianity or Islam. Those are things that directly harm women. But I'm still curious to hear if maybe somebody has thought this through in a way
Ooh,
that we haven't.
someone said, how about MAGA men are fragile? That's a great one because
Let's see
T,
if
they
they,
are.
yeah,
They
do
freaking
it.
are. I've never met a more fearful group of people than the MAGA community. They are scared of fucking everything. They're thinking about other people's genitals all day long. Can you imagine?
It's so happy Pride Month, by the way.
Yeah, happy
Um,
pride.
I went outside today and there's just like rainbows everywhere covering everything, and it was really cute. And I was like, oh, it's June. Um, which is,
Sweet.
how can you, I don't understand. Maybe we could even have something with that. I don't understand how Pride Month could bother somebody. What is the problem with
Shoving it
that?
in people's faces.
These just bright, beautiful colors everywhere. It's the absolute worst.
Yeah, and like I'm happy to shove acceptance in people's faces. Sorry if that's upsetting to you. Sorry if it's upsetting to you that what we're shoving in your faces is if this is the lifestyle that like comes naturally to you, that's okay. Sorry. Isn't that crazy? It's also like under what fucking circumstance did a person think like I don't know how to say this without being really graphic. So I'm gonna say it in a way that is baby terms for the graphic thing that I want to say. Could you fucking imagine being a person who believes that, like, me as a man, I didn't want to put PP in my butthole, but then all of a sudden I saw a rainbow flag and drag queens, and then I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe I should put PP in my butthole. Are you fucking crazy? How could that
The
possibly
the
work?
problem is that I think a lot of those people are hiding some things, and they what they don't like is the reminder that other people are getting to live more freely than they
Yeah.
are, if I had to predict. That's some of
Yeah.
it. But I love how you worded that. We do have a call coming in. I don't know that it would last very long, but we can have this chat while we wait for MAGA to
Sure.
try to find some argument to call in with. Should we talk to Will? Let's see.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, Will, you are on with Alyssa and Promise. How are you today?
I am well. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Doing doing good.
What do you want to chat with us about?
Okay, yeah. I also don't know if this will be like very fruitful or like much contention. I think I came up with a decent summary, and basically it has to do with balancing skepticism with a different strategy that I've been using for like mental health and well-being. So I make crystal malas and I meditate with crystal malas, and different ones have different meanings, kind of woo-woo. And so I just like basically pretend that that's reality, and I try to psychologically tie states like being calm and being clear-minded and happy to these physical objects. And so I feel like there's some self-deception there, and also like telling myself I'm happy when I'm not can then manifest feeling more happy. Like looking for positive things makes me feel more positive. So I feel like I just wonder if you guys have an opinion on some of that kind of a balance, because it's a little bit anti-skeptical, if that makes sense.
You know, I don't have a problem with the general idea of somebody like in their private practice using different tools that just to them, like you said, are symbolic of something and help them, achieve a mental state that they're wanting to achieve if they are cognizant of there being no actual reality behind it. Like this crystal isn't going to actually do anything for you. It's you yourself that's using it as a symbol to get yourself in a state of, or whatever it is that you're doing. Um, but the thing that stood out to me that you said was like pretending to be happy when you're not, kind of thing. And I'm not even that opposed to that if it's actually if you're finding it to be something that's effective long term in your life. Are you finding this to be something that's like really helpful with your mental health, because I just get concerned when people start taking things of no scientific value and replace actual experts and expert information with that. So like if you're doing that and also you're addressing mental health issues with a professional, sure, whatever works for you. I do get concerned when that replaces evidence-based tools, if that makes sense, what I'm saying.
Yeah, that does make sense. And I think that for me, the biggest risk that I've found is yeah, like kind of what you're getting at is becoming overly dependent on it. But there was a period of time where I was, very much struggling though. And so being able to get reprieve was really helpful. And it worked like 95% of the time, like picking up the mala and just like bringing myself into that state. But I am also working with a professional and using other coping strategies, and also started a psychotropic medication, which I was like previously not really a fan of, but it was very helpful, like a really drastic difference. Kind of made me recognize a lot of like characteristics of depression once I was alleviated from a lot of it. So I also agree that it's not something that you can rely on. And when communicating it to somebody who, doesn't really have the capacity, or like if you don't have the time to really get into it, like with my children, they say like, well, the magic is inside of you, and this helps you find the magic inside of you and makes it glow. So it's like, it's for me, it's, this is just something, it's all about you, and this is just helping you with, feeling calm and things like that.
Yeah, I like the idea of taking the feeling and the emotion, kind of like plucking it out of your head and placing it outside of yourself, so you can almost like, you have the ability to like hold it in your hand and separate you from the feeling while you process it. Like I think that can be really helpful. And I also, there's a part of me too that believes that even if something is kind of a placebo, I don't really care if it works. Like if ultimately this system is working for you, and like Promise said, you're still being mindful of the places where, an expert opinion takes precedence. I feel like if this is a tool that's helpful to you, then that's amazing. There's so many tools people are um that people are given that don't work for them, and it's always kind of like, take the stuff that lands, leave the stuff that doesn't. We all are trying to make it through the end of the day as best as we can. And so if this is what does that for you, I don't think that it I think there's also kind of like a thing in the atheist community where people are so hard on themselves to make sure that, well, I've called myself an atheist and I don't want to like have the judgment of other atheists if I say that I believe that this thing works for me. I don't want to like receive the judgment of people who are like, well, now you're not being a skeptic and now you're blah, blah, blah. Who the fuck cares? Life is short. If this is something that is helpful to you, I wouldn't worry so much about like what a skeptic community would say to you, because like we're all just figuring it out, and life is hard. And, that's sort of my piece on it.
Cool. Yeah. And the one thing that I want to also like caution, if anybody who does want to like try that, you have to do the work ahead of time. So when I'm not in a state of anxiety, when I'm not, in a crisis, I need to like meditate and actually create that tie. So if I just pick up crystals and there's nothing else other than holding it, or, there has to be work behind it, because then it helps tie you to that state. If you're sitting in the same place that you sit when you're calm and meditate, and then you grab your, thing in your hand and move it through your hand. So you do have to create the tie. You have to create the consciousness state that is going to be connected to the object. And so
Yeah,
and talking about it's scary because I don't want people to judge it because I'm trying to live in that illusion a little bit, but
sure. Yeah,
so
I
it's
think
weird.
I think that was kind of what I was going to bring on the next thing. I think it can be valuable as like a personal private thing, but where like a lot of things in religious practices that go wrong is when it gets turned into like this thing that people are marketing to others, which obviously it sounds like you're trying to do the opposite of that and keep this to your own thing. But where I really get the red flags are when people are marketing themselves as some kind of like, I'm going to help you with crystals and tarot, and you can pay this amount and do it. Because then I'm like, you're doing the exact same thing as the evangelical, prophets with their grifts and everything at that point. But as far as like a personal, private thing that is just symbolic for you, I think it's great. I have right after I stopped believing, I didn't know what I was, and I just knew that I didn't believe demons existed anymore. So I was so excited, and I went to a metaphysical shop and I bought a bunch of crystals and tarot decks, and I still have all of them. And so for me, I still have those things because I think they're pretty and because they remind me of that moment of freedom I experienced where I was like, oh, I can do this. And it's not real. It was
That's
actually like the
so
lack of
beautiful.
power that they held that made me feel empowered. So I have my own little, thoughts there. But is there anything else, Will, you wanted to chat with us about before we let you go?
I mean, not really. I want to say a quick thank you to both you guys. I really like your content. Alyssa, I feel like I've gotten a really good education on consent. Like it's a lot more complex than yes and no. And so I've been trying to communicate that to the people in my life, try to encourage enthusiastic consent for sexual activities. And then Promise, I really like your some of your arguments that were made about abortion, the way that you handle the calls with poise and grace, and
Thank
but
you.
the arguments themselves I think really helped. I was just always abstained from the argument. I felt like it's not my business, whatever, but the
Sure,
more
yeah.
that I learned about it, I was like, oh well, I don't know, I think it's better to actually advocate when appropriate for for everyone's bodily autonomy and right to choose, and doctors and women are going to make a better decisions together than the representatives that are bought by corporations and don't care about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much, Will. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Will. It's really
Yep, thanks a
nice.
lot. Take it easy.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, Will.
Very lovely.
That
That was
was
a nice caller, but we're
lovely.
also happy to take on some other conversations. Maybe if our producer Luthien can hear me, maybe if we change it to "Are MAGA men fragile?" question mark. I feel like we need a question mark in
Mm.
here to get people to call in,
Yeah.
um, and have that conversation.
And the answer
Uh,
is yes.
yeah.
The
Yes. Um,
most.
so yeah, if you are MAGA, if you've supported Trump, if you've ever voted for Trump and you want to call in and defend that, if you are somebody who thinks that women shouldn't vote, if you think that their husband should vote, if you think that they should have a husband, that's actually another one we could try
Yeah.
sometime. If you think that, uh, you know, I'm trying to think of other topics relevant for this month. I mean, if you think that we shouldn't have Pride Month, that's another thing. You're welcome
Ooh.
to call in, and tell us why that shouldn't be a thing. What else? Do you want to tell us why abortion should be completely banned? Call in. Let us know.
Yeah.
Or
I
maybe they are just fragile and that's why they can't call.
I don't know when I was talking about this recently. It might have been in the obsession video actually, where I was saying how like it always frustrates me that with the abortion conversations, like it just feels like men don't trust women's decision making because even in the circumstance of like the states that have an abortion ban with exceptions, those exceptions have to be verified by a doctor, and that doctor risks losing their license if they make the wrong choice. And like many of the time those doctors are men, and then there's going to be someone else who also is checking in on if that decision was okay. Because God forbid the woman who's actually getting the procedure actually knows what she's talking about. Can you fucking imagine? Sorry, I'm so cursy today.
I love it. I missed you.
I missed you. Oh my God. Did you see? I mean, I know you saw, but chat, did you guys see that I actually sobbed when I opened Promise's book? I didn't realize it was coming to
And
me
then
that
I was
day.
laying there watching that, crying. So it was just like crying inception.
I was not actually expecting to cry, but I felt the package and I was like, this feels like a book. And I was like, I didn't order a book. And then I was like, oh my God, I know what this is. And then Kevin started filming me, and then I just like couldn't stop crying because it was so cool. So
Aw.
everyone,
And you're in the book.
I know that was so exciting. I flipped to the front. I was like, oh,
Did you know
me.
you're in the very back?
I need to check the very back. You texted me that I need to look.
You're
So
just in my
crazy.
little acknowledgments. But yeah, my book came out, so that's really exciting. It's already getting infuriating. I mean, it's gotten the most incredibly kind, thoughtful, encouraging words I've ever read on the reviews, which is
Yeah.
so cool to be hearing that from everybody. But then there's like a couple of the like 1-star reviews from somebody who clearly did not read the book.
Saying
And
what?
that saying that one person called it a quote piece of work, but they misspelled peace, Peace, and they said that I'm destroying hope. So it's just that kind of stuff, which is always really funny. So not only is MAGA fragile, but a lot of Christians, their faith is extremely fragile. So if you are a Christian, if you're a theist, if you believe a God exists, and you are watching this right now, and you think you have a good reason for us to believe that a God exists, we would love to take that call as well.
Yes.
But yeah, we think that MAGA men are pretty fragile, that they don't know how to debate. They don't know how to have a conversation calmly and like to actually bring up solid arguments for their points. I guess I can't speak for Alyssa, but I think I can when I say that they're really emotional in a lot of their
Yes.
opinions. It's very emotions driven. It's not based on fact.
Yes.
And a lot of it is based off of fear of other people. They're like, they've got their own insecurities happening. And so they don't, they don't want to look inward. So they have to just
Yeah. Well, the
get upset with
whole
everybody
like
else.
MAGA movement is just protecting the the way that men, specifically white men, have control over this country. That's literally what all of it is. And like any time that MAGA men are feeling threatened, if you dig deeper, the reason is because either a woman or a minority group is facing having the same amount of rights as them. And that scares the shit out of them. And then all of a sudden, our facts don't matter and their feelings matter only. And
Yep.
but I also saw I saw like a clip from a recent Jubilee thing where a MAGA supporter was saying that the war in Gaza is done. He's like, there's no war happening there. And the woman he was speaking to was like, yes, there is. And he's like, so they're just like dropping bombs over there? But you think that they're just, and she's like, yes.
They just don't, they're not even informed. They don't even
No.
want to know
They have
anything
no
that's
idea what's going on. They have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on. They are El
None.
Primo snowflake, and all they do is stomp their little toddler feet and bitch and moan, and then tell us that we're bitching and moaning, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I maybe one of them will call in. Maybe there is a MAGA supporter that's listening right now, and they're like, I get it. I get why they feel this way, but actually there are some good reasons to vote conservative. And
Yeah.
I would love to hear those. As a woman, why should I want to be a conservative? If you want to call in, it's 1-336-543-2101. And if you are a theist or if you're MAGA, you will get to speak with us immediately, directly. It'll be great. Also, I'm just got distracted because I looked down and I can see that I look green, at least on my phone. So I don't know if that's
You
how I'm
don't look
looking.
you don't look
Okay, great.
green on
Excellent.
here. But I think
Okay.
I look really pink, and blue. I don't
Maybe
know.
we're just like clashing.
Something is happening. I think my pink is emphasizing your green, and actually,
The
it's giving
green is
wicked.
emphasizing your pink. Look at us.
Look at us.
But
I
is that the ones that we would be? I feel like it
I
depends on the
don't
day, maybe.
know. I think it depends on the I think it depends on the day. Perhaps. I don't know. Oh, Luthien says both of us look good on YouTube. Thanks, girl.
Thanks. Love a
Yeah,
girly show.
I love a girly show. What other like stupid MAGA things have you seen recently?
I keep seeing a lot of them just outright saying that women shouldn't have the right to vote.
Mm,
So
that's
that's
crazy.
really, really
Who's
wild.
There's that woman who's I can't remember her name, and like honestly it's one of those things where like I don't want to learn because fuck her. And she talks about how she thinks that her household should have one vote. Like she
Yes.
shouldn't have a
Yeah.
vote
Oh,
as a
she's
woman.
that like 21-year-old
Yes.
girl. Yes. I can't remember her name. Savannah, maybe?
Yes, Savannah something.
Yeah.
And she makes all of this content about how the her husband should be leading the household and only his opinion matters. And the way that she shares this information is by going on the internet and sharing her opinion over and over and over again every single day for a living.
That's what gets me every time. So I have, how do I say this? I'll just say I know some people that
Mm.
are extremely conservative Christian, and they are outspokenly calling themselves anti-feminist and all of this, and yet, and like say that women should stay home and they should stay with their babies and all of this, and yet she's making a career. I know several girls like this that are making a career out of going out
Hmm.
and doing the opposite of what they preach.
Yeah.
Um, so that's, the hypocrisy. That's a usual
It's
thing.
so crazy. It's just
Now I'm
so
trying to think of
crazy.
more things. We should just keep changing the banner until somebody gets brave enough to call us. What about
Hmm. MAGA hates women.
change
We're
our
trying to
mind?
get
Well, the thing is, it has to be like some kind of question, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hard. It's hard. We're trying to get people to be brave enough to call. Did you ever think
Yeah.
that we were scary? Because apparently we're scary. Like MAGA men are scared of talking to us. That's so crazy.
To be fair, two of our videos that have gone the most viral, one is us debating abortion
Yeah.
and absolutely crushing it. And the other is us absolutely just laughing in the face of some MAGA guy calling in. Do you remember that one?
Yes. Wait, was it when he said he's not bought and sold by billionaires? And we were like,
Yeah, literally. I think I said my two-word rebuttal is Elon Musk.
yes,
Um,
exactly. Oh,
so,
that was so good. That was
oh, the
so
chat is
good.
coming up with ideas. But yeah, maybe why does MAGA hate women?
Yeah, there you go. Let's give that a try.
Or does
Um,
MAGA? I think it needs to be shorter. So, Luthien, could we change it to does MAGA hate women?
Yeah.
I think they do.
Um, I think that they do. I think that they are so nervous to see women outpace them in education, in financially outpacing men. And I think feeling the level of equality that they have is that we're striving for scares the shit out of them.
I mean, and it is, to be fair, it is these extremists. And then what ends up happening is guys that are just like, well, it doesn't matter, so let's go along with it. And they don't
Hmm.
understand
Yeah.
that by supporting that, they're supporting some of the worst ideas ever.
Hmm. I also think it's interesting that like when we do these shows and it's just me and you, and even like Chewed Gum too, we don't get nearly as many callers as the shows that are hosted by men. And I really feel like it's because other men don't want to debate us. And I don't think it's because they're like scared. I think they literally think that like we're not capable or it'll be like not
I think they
uh
have a crush on us and
oh my God.
they are afraid that they're going to sound stupid.
Wait. There's someone in the chat. There's someone in the chat. Do you see this? I don't think MAGA hates women. Everyone
No.
is sick of women being professional victims. Call the fuck in because
Call us.
you being in the chat, just like spewing all of your bullshit is professional victim status. Are you kidding me? You're hiding behind your anonymous account. Right. Right. That's so crazy. Professional victims. Have you
Please
ever
start
seen
paying us.
Right. Have you ever seen a man use a TENS machine to simulate period cramps?
Yes.
Right. And
Meanwhile,
women are professional victims.
I've tried a form of that, like the how it does that kind of shock therapy to
Yeah,
relieve some of my cramps. So,
that is so
uh,
crazy. And it's like to
are
say
they
that
going to call in? Did they say?
probably not. They're probably going to sit in the comments.
We
Yeah,
have a
yes, you
couple
are a
of.
professional victim. Okay.
Then call us.
But you won't call in. You're gonna spend all you want to know what's also so crazy? This is a person who is like opposing us, but is spending their afternoon watching us on YouTube. It's a fucking Monday. This is what we do for a living. So we don't need to hate watch somebody in the middle of the day,
Yeah,
but you apparently do, and we're the professional victims. You literally you are rage baiting yourself on purpose. And then we're asking you to call in and you won't. And then you're going to sit in the chat and say that we are professional victims. You're such a professional victim that you insist on rage baiting yourself. No one's asking you to be here. Like, what are you talking about?
That's a wild claim. I mean, if you want to call in and say that, let's have that conversation. But to be in a chat saying that is just the best. We have a couple of super chats I'll read real quick while we're having some calls screened. Meg says, you both look absolutely gorgeous. Alyssa, your nails are so cute. And also, I feel we need a chewed gum book club. Vote for the first pick to be Gospel of Lies. Oh, we talked about doing that
We
and we
did.
never did it.
I know. You know what I think would help is if we had a chewed gum Instagram account and then we did like a channel in there. You know, you could do those broadcast channels.
Oh, I don't know about this.
I'll noodle on this. Let me get a
Okay.
post-it. Also, my nails are press-ons. Oh wait, you can't really see.
Oh, they're so cute. I
Cute,
love
right?
them.
I like
Yes.
them
I
too.
just broke one of my nails today. It's making me sad. And then we have another $5 from Free. Conservatives want to conserve the status quo. Women are not happy with the status quo. Women should reject conservatism. Yeah. Yep. We have another friendly call, which we'll just keep taking friendlies until MAGA gets brave enough to actually call in. Somebody calling us
Poor
fake feminists? Call us.
I actually wonder
Make
if
a
it's like
point.
if it's a bot. Because
Oh,
usually
maybe.
maybe it's just a bot.
Yeah,
Poor
that's sad.
fake person. What are you gonna do?
Shall we chat with Chris real quick? It'll probably be another short call.
Oh wait, someone else in the chat too. Sorry.
Y'all are all bots until you call.
He ain't wrong. Y'all are professional victims, specifically Promise and her stupid ass book where she blabs for pages on or something about her stupid choices and shit. Just because you can't
Tell
read.
me you haven't read the book without
No.
telling
Tell
me.
me you can't read without telling me you can't read. Just if you can't read, just say that. Just say that.
I would love for one of these people to be brave enough to actually call in.
Yeah, I think that person is probably a bot because they won't call in and they just keep saying the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, let's take our friendly.
Bummer. All right, let's talk to Chris. Hey, Chris, you are chatting with Alyssa and Promise. What were you calling in for today?
Hi, Promise. Hi, Alyssa. The OG Promissa experience, finally.
Yay!
We're back together.
We're back.
Yeah, I'll try to make this as brief as possible. But I have a few questions I wanted to ask. But I guess the most important one was how to be a better thinker. I mean, like how do you go about like identifying your own biases or making sure, like, Promise, when you were writing your book, had you, I don't know, questioned yourself about whether you're not engaging in any fallacies or things like that. I'm just generally looking for advice. This is not in any way antagonistic or anything.
Yeah, no, I love the question. For me, it is, I mean, engaging fallacies is, I write about this in the book, how important it is to constantly be checking yourself to, as much as you can to make sure that you're not having biases, and also to just be aware that that's going to happen anyways, and just to kind of have that in the back of your mind. But for me, remaining skeptical and trying not to fall into fallacies is best prevented when I keep truth at the center. So for me, the goal is like to always figure out what is true. And that usually helps me, if an emotion comes up that would make me start going one way, I'm like, yeah, but does that have anything to do with what's true or not? And so, picking kind of a North Star, something like that can be really helpful for me. Just reading a lot, learning from people I admire the thinking of, and then trying to figure out for myself what I think about what they think so that I'm not just falling into this, oh, let me just think like them now. So it's remaining curious, it's setting, what is true as a goal, and not falling into the trap of certainty. There's Matt says it all the time, and I agree. There's not much I'm certain about at all, if anything. So just maintaining flexibility in your thinking as well is big. Alyssa, what about you?
Yeah, I think that that's the main thing is, are you more committed to being right or to pursuing the truth? And I think some of the most brilliant people that we know are people who are okay with being wrong, um, and are okay with being wrong because the pursuit of truth is more important. And that's really like the goal. So yeah, I would say that. And in terms of like, I don't know, expanding how you are thinking in general, I have to be honest, I have really not been on social media very much recently, and I've been like mindful of the content that I take in, and it has changed my brain chemistry in such a short period of time. Like I even watching a show like Couples Therapy, which is a show that's on Paramount Plus, and I think maybe Showtime. It's a show like therapists, a therapist doing real couples therapy sessions, whatever. Watching something like that versus like scrolling on Instagram has, even that alone has created such a difference in the way that I'm like processing the world around me. And there's just so much rage baity content that exists. I say this as we are trying to come up with rage baity titles for this one, but the rage baity content, I think, puts us in like a mind frame of prioritizing what is right, or prioritizing being right, prioritizing like dunking on other people, when in reality, like the priority needs to be what is the truth. We've lost the essence of truth. We've lost the importance of truth. And yeah, so just being mindful of the content that you take in and being sort of like responsible and discerning with what it is that you're taking in every day.
That's like interesting. We did talk a while back on Chewed and you could keep more or less similar advice when it came to debating or talking to people, whether I am more focused on being right or actually communicating, winning or talking, and it kind of got to me. So I toned down the insults from people I disagree with, and I do realize that I really have this strong feeling of which stems from my inadequacies and from my problems, internal problems, that I do want to be right, and I also tend to, but like I'm monitoring this, and when I realized this is a thing, I really toned down all the stuff. I also tried to limit how much time I spend on social media, but for me, it's like I had to set up time limits for social media apps on my phone,
Yeah.
not to go over a certain amount every day, because I've been spending like over 20 hours a week on threads alone. So that was a
That's
lot.
some rage bait right there.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you,
Yes,
can I
and
ask
it
you,
really started to get to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I think all that sounds like you're knowing yourself well and knowing that you probably should back off of some of those interactions. Because I'm curious, is it that you want to be right or that you want somebody else to acknowledge that you're right? Like, which of those is the bigger deal to you? Because I think a lot of times we think that it's just that, oh, I want to be right, I want to know the right thing, but really it turns into, no, I need this person to acknowledge it and I want them to know that I am right about this. Is that maybe more so what it is?
That's a really interesting question. I haven't thought along those lines. So that opens a whole avenue of reflecting. Uh, I guess what it uh, the deep down stuff, even when I have this, this urge of being just simply acknowledged in any way. I think it boils down to me just really desperately wanting to make a difference and make the world a little bit better than I found it. And I think this is like the main thing for me, at least from what I can see in myself now. Maybe there's something sinister deeper inside that I don't know yet of. But I think that's the whole point. But I don't know how to go
No,
about it in a healthy
I think
way
that's
yet.
great. I think that it sounds like if what it is that you value is actually genuinely helping somebody change their mind and learn new information based off of what you believe to be more accurate information, then I would put more effort into really studying and learning what it is that helps people change their minds. And it is not usually these conversations. I know that the majority of people we have on the line here, the calls that we engage in, that caller is most likely not changing their mind. There's a lot of things that lead me to believe they probably won't change their mind. We do this publicly for other people to listen in and hear how to engage and a lot of times they end up changing their mind. That's who we end up hearing a lot from, are the people that watch these things. And so that's one way that, Alyssa and myself work on helping people change their minds. There's other things that we do as well. There's education, there's things that we do offline. That's one of the reasons I wrote my book, stuff like that. So if I were you, if this is something you're really passionate about, and it sounds like maybe you're getting more frustrated in this short format engagement style where you're not being acknowledged, in a way that makes you feel like you're making a difference, I would start studying different ways that actually help people change their mind and make a difference. And you will probably feel more empowered when you develop some other skills in that area.
Okay, so that's another point. Huh, that's interesting. What makes people
Well,
change
Chris,
their minds?
I'm going to let Alyssa wrap it up with you real quick, and then we've got a couple of MAGA callers calling in. So we'll let you go after that, but I'll
Yeah,
let
sure.
Alyssa sum up here what she was going to say.
I'll say my last little piece of this, which I think I remember you calling on chewed gum as well. So I probably have said this to you before, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself. But in that same tone of prioritizing the truth versus prioritize the feeling of being right, it feels really good to be able to be right, to feel right, to dunk on the other person. But if the goal is to change people's minds are not going to be changed when they feel shamed, when they feel small, when they feel like they've been disrespected. that's not when people change their minds. And even though there are moments where it's kind of like they fucking deserve it, like whatever, however you feel emotionally about it, you almost have to take your emotions, put them aside, because if the goal is to change somebody's mind, or at least like leave them with something that they can like chew on for a little while, it is almost never going to happen when someone is speaking to them in a way that's angry, in a way that's purposefully derogatory in any way. So, and I think even like on Chewed Gum, we've had a few people who have changed their minds on some topics like the importance of virginity, the importance of body count, like that sort of stuff. And we've had some of them call back and let us know that they've changed their mind. And without doubt, every time that that's happened, it's been a conversation where we stayed calm, where we had like a constructive conversation, and we were able to like wrap it up on kind of a good solid note, which is really only possible if the person on the other end is not being a jerk. But yeah, I honestly think the person who wins the debates more times than not, like a constructive conversation. Oh, I just heard myself for a second.
Sorry, that was my bad.
No, it's totally fine. I was like, did I do something?
That
Anyway,
was so scary for a second.
I know. I was like, huh? Also, that just made me feel like we all sound the same because I couldn't tell who that was. I couldn't tell if that was Luthien
I was
or
like,
Promise.
I'm not talking. Why did that happen?
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm being very long-winded, but yeah, thank you, Chris, for calling in. I really appreciate your calls.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been really informative and really, really helpful. Thank you guys for all that you're doing.
Thanks, Chris. Have a good one.
Have a good day.
They were so nice. I think I
So
remember their
nice.
call from before. If I was on, maybe I wasn't. Sorry, the sunset is so beautiful. So I was just casually snapping a picture of it while we're sitting here. Okay, we have James ready to chat with us. So
Okay. Oh, this is the person who was in the chat.
I don't know.
Okay, well, let's find out. Hello?
Hey, James, you're chatting with Alyssa and Promise. What were you calling in for today?
I just like kind of saw a topic about how MAGA doesn't like women. Like I kind of disagree with that because MAGA is pretty anti-abortion, and really anti-abortion does benefit the women. And I feel like you're gonna kind of shoot me down on that right away. But
probably, but
kind of
go ahead and make your case. Tell us why. Tell us why we should want to ban abortion.
So, first of all, it's kind of a general statement. That benefits like unborn human life. Abortion's murder. Second of all,
wait, hold on. Sorry, we're gonna interrupt you a lot when anytime you make an assertion that we don't agree on, because we have to resolve that before we move on. So you just said abortion is murder. I don't agree, and it's literally not. Murder is a legal term.
Okay. See, I define it as the unjustified taking of a human life.
Great. I don't. So I have you heard Alyssa and I debate this before? Because I don't want to bore you with my
No,
thing.
I just kind of
Oh, James, did we lose you?
James, call back.
Oh no.
If you call back quickly, hopefully that was an accident.
Damn.
We'll see. I know.
I think
Should we give him a couple?
I think it just got disconnected. Yeah, hopefully it calls back. Maybe just give it a second.
A second?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have people hang up in the middle of our
You can try calling him
calls about
back.
We can't.
Oh, we
I always
can?
wondered if
How?
that's possible. There's a button that says call back.
It is possible. I think you can try that.
I'll try
Alyssa,
it.
you want to do it? You do it.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
scared.
press it. Okay. Let's see. I've never done this before. Hello? Is it working? Let's see. Oh, we're calling him. Ooh.
Hello?
Hi. Sorry. I think we lost you before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You were in the middle of a sentence and then it just dropped.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
So I'll just
You
tell
can go
you,
ahead.
James, I don't believe that anybody should have their legal rights to their own body taken away from them. So this is the example I always give, and I'm just going to go ahead and give it from the top. Let's say that Alyssa is in desperate need of my blood for some reason. And we can go ahead and say that Alyssa is my child. And so I'm sitting there connected to Alyssa. Our blood is, or she's getting my blood. And I decide for whatever reason, I actually don't want to be donating my blood anymore. I don't want to be sitting here doing this. I should not be legally required. Did we lose him again?
Oh,
Now I'm feeling like this was on purpose.
yeah, I think he's.
Anyways, to summarize, I don't think that I should have to be legally required to stay connected to Alyssa. And I love one of Alyssa's amazing points. I don't know if you were going to ask James the question that you've asked some other boys that have opinions on about if they are down to get
Get a
vasectomies.
vasectomy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do love that hypothetical. I mean, even like beyond the hypothetical, I always think it's interesting that people call in and talk about like the murder of these children when these are lives that can't exist outside of this outside of the mother's body. So they are not fully developed children. And why is their life of more value than the mother that is
Right.
making the decision? Like at how many weeks exactly does that switch over? And by having abortion bans, there have been research to show that there's a 9.2% increase in pregnancy associated deaths in those states. So if you're really concerned about
Yeah.
protecting the sanctity of life, then you would keep the ability to have abortions in all states.
Great point. I guess we win because James maybe just is having a terrible phone connection at this point. Now I think that he just dropped twice as soon as he realized that we actually were gonna make him follow through on the assertion that abortion is murder. I do think that he thought he could call in and just say MAGA is good because it's anti-abortion, and he thought that was going to somehow be a point.
Right.
And
Right.
actually you have to follow up on each point. So
Right.
we have this other call. I don't know if you see it, that I'm not that. I mean, maybe they'll want to chat about something else because they're
It's
saying
gonna be
should
very
women be eligible
fast.
to be drafted. I don't think there should be a draft at all. So, hey, Michael, you are live on the line. Can I ask, who did you vote for in this last election?
I didn't vote for either candidate.
Okay. Who did you vote for before that?
I'm an independent, so I usually just vote independent. But you know,
Okay.
I'm not really.
Got it. Well, I'm just wondering if there's anything else you would want to chat about, because the whole should women be eligible to be drafted? I don't think there should be a draft at all. So I don't know that that's a conversation we even want to necessarily have.
No, I agree. There shouldn't be a draft, but when you turn 18, only males have to register for a selective service. So that's my only point.
I don't think they should have to do that. I don't know why the answer would be to instead advocate for women to do it too. I would aim for less harm caused, not more. Okay,
but I'm just saying that since it is a law, shouldn't women be also required?
You're advocating for a law change, and I'm saying, yes, let's change the law to have it be nobody drafted. So my idea of the law changing would be to say, yeah. So I think that my idea would be better.
Yeah, I agree. There shouldn't be a draft, but I'm just saying that's a hypothetical, and this is because I joined the military just on my own. I registered for the draft, but yeah,
right, you weren't drafted.
I totally agree. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think there should be a draft at all.
Michael, do you find the way that the military advertises to young people predatory in any way? Like, I'm curious because
Oh,
you
absolutely.
did join. Yeah, my brother-in-law is a veteran, and he's said the same thing. Where like there are parts of being a part of the military that were like beneficial to him, but ultimately looking back on it, he was like, "That was kind of fucked up how they do that."
Oh, absolutely. Especially with the commercials and yeah, and I mean, it's been 20 years since I've been in, but it's not I mean, it's kind of going against my point.
Yeah,
It's
but
not a
Michael,
good
I'm really
environment
confused.
for women at all.
I'm really, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
confused because you said, so, okay, you're saying that men are required to be drafted, so therefore women should also. I'm saying I don't think any of them should have to be. And you're saying you agree with me, but that it's a hypothetical.
Right.
But your idea is also a hypothetical. You are saying I think the law should be changed, and I'm saying yes to nobody being drafted, and you're saying yes to women also being drafted. So I'm not understanding still how you can stand by that. Why wouldn't you just agree with me and say, yeah, nobody should be drafted?
I do agree. I know it's counterintuitive, but I do agree that the government should not be able to draft anyone to war. But since it is the law, I'm just saying that it's only fair that everyone is. It's selective service. It's not. You know, it's you're eligible to be drafted.
Michael, if you could go vote to change the law right now to have it be that either women are also drafted or that nobody is drafted, which one would you choose?
I would definitely choose not to be drafted. I totally understand your point.
Yeah, I
And
guess I still
I'm
just don't understand yours.
Well, I'm just saying that I just try to think of things that should be equal with as far
Let me
as
try to explain it this way. Okay, so do you think that like being drafted, can we say that that's just something that's wrong? It shouldn't happen. Would you agree with that statement?
well, I guess it depends. I mean,
It's going against somebody's autonomy. Would you say that?
yeah, but if like in World War II, if our existence is
Okay, let me try
in
to explain it
jeopardy,
this way. If let's say that there is a let's say suddenly men are not going to be allowed health care at all.
Mhm.
Would you then say, well, then now women shouldn't be allowed to get it either? Or would you be saying, everybody should be having health care? This is crazy.
That's kind of a. I mean, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, if something bad is happening to one group of people, why is the solution to now make sure it happens to more instead of to none of them?
Well, it's not necessarily the selective service is you're eligible to be drafted. So it doesn't mean you're going to be drafted. I'm just saying that everyone should be eligible. Certain things a person should be eligible no matter what their gender, sex, whatever.
So now I'm more confused. Do you think that there should be a draft or no?
It depends, actually. If you're talking about what happened in World War II, then maybe there should be at least a possibility for a draft. But then,
okay, so then my argument to you would be, I don't think I'm against the idea of a draft. I don't think it should matter whether you're a man or woman or anything else. I don't think you should be drafted. So that's my position. Just like my moral stance on that.
Yeah, it's just the fact that it only applies to men is what I don't
agree that it's
necessarily agree
wrong.
with.
I don't think that it should apply to anyone.
Okay. But since I'm saying that since it does, yes, let's change the law, but until then, let's have it equal.
But if we're going to change the law anyway, if we're going
That's
to
like
change
us-
the law, why make it worse?
Worse.
Why
That's like
take
saying,
a
well,
step back?
some people are starving every day, so we should make all people be starving. This is insane. Alyssa, try to help me, please, because I don't know how to help this. I don't know how to help Michael understand.
That's a conflation. It's a conflation. You're bringing up
No, it's not.
hypotheticals that are
You
very
are bringing up a
different than what-
hypothetical, Michael. The very idea that women would be drafted as well is a hypothetical just as much as the idea that nobody should be drafted. These are all hypotheticals. Yours is equally a hypothetical as much as mine is. And I think mine is a better one.
The other thing is
How is
women are allowed to sign up if they want to. And
Right.
that's the whole thing is when you're drafting somebody, we're worried about the bodily autonomy that is being stripped away from that situation. It's not about physical ability. It's about the bodily autonomy. Like there are women who would be happy to join the military because they do. And I think that you're conflating this hypothetical, which is really one of bodily autonomy, with one that is focusing on gender inequality, which is that's not for we're arguing two completely different points. You're arguing that, well, if women want everything to be equal, then why are they not allowed in the draft?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
But okay, so like
it's a legitimate question.
So, but your question,
And I'm giving you my answer.
Yeah,
the answer is I think it's bad.
hypothetical. Yeah,
I'm
your
very
hypothetical.
Pro woman. No, I'm very pro woman.
Your hypothetical is debating on a gender inequality that you're seeing, and what we're saying is it has nothing to do with the gender inequality, and the bigger, more ethical thing to focus on is that the draft in general is unethical. Like the whole thing is unethical. So get rid of it for everyone. So we're discussing this in two different points. Do you know what I'm saying? So like we're kind of like ships passing in the night. But ultimately, when we're looking at something like a draft, our position is the most ethical thing you can do is get rid of it completely. And what it sounds like, what I'm hearing is your position is okay, but it also would be more ethical to have women also be drafted. So like, and then I promise I'll shut up because I know I'm very long-winded. But like, it feels like, Michael, it feels like we're prioritizing it like men being drafted is the worst case scenario, and then on top of that, it's just, or sorry, not the worst case scenario. It's like people being drafted is bad overall, but it feels like you're putting it in like order of importance. It's like, well, men being drafted, women being drafted, everyone being drafted. I don't know how else to explain that.
Yeah, Michael, it's
I'm
like
saying
if a parent has if a parent has a daughter and a son and they're hitting their son, they're beating their son, that would be like me coming in and saying, it's wrong to beat kids, but if they're going to, they should also beat the daughter to make sure they're consistent. That's how your position is coming across to me. So help me understand how that's not what you're saying.
All I'm saying is, as a citizen, has citizenship of the United States, you should be eligible to be drafted.
So now we're having a different debate.
Because
when I asked you, I said I don't think anybody should be drafted. So that's my position. And I'm not interested in debating the draft because I don't know enough at all. I just know my position is that I'm against the very idea of a draft. So that's why I said this call might not go very long, because my position is that the draft is wrong and I don't think that anybody should be drafted. And you said you agreed with that, but now you're saying as a citizen, you disagree? You think that we should be drafted?
No, I'm sorry. As citizens, we're all eligible. We should all be eligible to be drafted. It's not
I
necessarily. Okay. Just the only reason I'm saying this is because only men are eligible to be drafted, which is.
And I don't think
Only
that
men
men should
are
be
able to
eligible
go
to
to
be
war.
drafted because I don't think anyone should be eligible for draft because I don't think a draft should happen.
Right. Okay. Okay.
All right, Michael, we're going to let you go and take another caller. Thanks, Michael. I don't know. I don't understand how that wasn't understandable.
I
That
just
was-
don't. I also like my point in bringing up that I think, and I see that someone, yeah, there's another draft.
Well, yeah, we're not going to take, guys, that's not what the show is about. We're not
It's also
taking
just
calls
like
about the draft.
so fucking boring. If you hate women, just say that. Just say that. And also, how is it that the one place you want to give women equality is in the draft? In the draft. That's
Right.
where we're worried about. Now, all of a sudden, pro equal rights for women. Fuck you. Really?
Yeah.
The draft?
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, if you hate women, just say that.
Right. Men are like,
So-
let me think of the worst thing that happens to me.
Yes.
And let me try to make sure it happens to women too. Let's not try
Right.
to make things better for all of us. Let's just like pick a terrible thing and make sure that we're all getting shit.
For every man who has the position of women should also be drafted, I wish that I could say, okay, and you have to be pregnant and you have to spend a year of your life with 50 extra pounds of fluid and human on your body and then go through childbirth, which is life-threatening for many women.
Yep.
How about
I
that?
agree.
You want equality? How about we do that? And then when you get out, you have very minimal parental leave if you have any substantial parental leave at all. And then you probably have to go back to work because our economy doesn't really support single payer households. And then if the child ends up being fucked up because they didn't have any support from their parents at home, guess who gets blamed for it? Mom.
Yeah. Wild. Well, if there's any MAGA out there that wants to call in and actually back their views about women and share with us why you think that women shouldn't have equal rights, why you think that they shouldn't have bodily autonomy, why you think they shouldn't be able to vote, anything like that, we would love for you to call in and tell us. Or if you want to call in and tell us that MAGA supports women and wants the best for women, that would be great. I would take that call. It looks like we have some going through screener right now. In the meantime, anything exciting in the news that you're happy about, upset about?
What's happening in the news that I'm happy about? I don't know. Honestly, I haven't really been as in the weeds of it because I sort of took a step back from social media the past couple weeks, and it's been drastically helping my mental health.
I'm jealous.
But I don't know. What do you think? Anything interesting come up for you?
I mean, I've just seen that Trump's been crashing out in real time over and over again, as per usual. And I had some news story pulled up, and now I can't find that tab because I have like 7 million tabs on my phone. I don't know if you have that problem. You know, AI is looking scarier by the day. All kinds of just delightful things that MAGA has not helped with. Also, the whole Ebola crisis that's happening, and so much of it directly due to cuts made by Doge. Is that what it was called?
Yes, Doge.
God.
I would like to know when my Doge check is getting here. When all of the money that they saved that I was supposed to be getting a check for.
Where is that money?
Where's my Doge check?
We've got a caller here that wants to talk
voted
to us
for
about
Trump.
abortion.
Maybe he knows where my Doge check is.
Yes. Let's talk to Devin. Hey, Devin, you are talking to Alyssa and Promise.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Hello.
Good.
Great.
Says here you voted.
Another day of my life as a woman debating exclusively men about women's rights. So just locking in, Devin. Locking in.
That's
And you voted for Trump, which means you got to decide what happens to my body in the event that I have an unwanted pregnancy. So please, by all means, tell me why you did that.
yeah. So I again am not against women's rights at all, but at the same time, I don't think anyone's rights should supersede human life.
I
And
agree.
so,
I don't think that any one life should supersede that of another. Therefore, I do not think
right.
that a fetus or if I'm hooked up to Alyssa donating blood to her, I don't think that her life supersedes mine. So I don't think that an unborn baby, a fetus, whatever you feel most comfortable calling it, I don't feel like that supersedes the rights of the mother. And what you're advocating for when you try to ban abortion is you're advocating for that fetus to have more rights than the body carrying it.
Not at all. So let's use that same example. Do you think that it's fair that if Alyssa is hooked up and in need of your blood, do you think it's fair to kill Alyssa?
I think that
Or do you
there
think
should be
you have
absolutely.
a chance to live, even if you're not giving her blood?
I think that if my body is what is keeping hers alive, that I should not be legally required to continue giving my body, whether that's giving blood, whether that's donating an organ, whatever it is. I do not believe that my rights should be taken from me in that way.
And I'll say that one caveat in this is, for me personally, is I don't think in the case of rape that it should be the same. But
so then you're not even consistent. So then you're not even consistent with your own argument here. So
no,
suddenly
why,
the
why
life.
am I not allowed
So
to...
you don't mind. So to you, it's killing a baby until it's rape, and then
Yeah.
you're okay to kill the baby.
That's not what I'm saying. At that point, at least there's some sort of argument, and I would leave that up to the courts.
What's the argument?
Devin,
I don't believe it's right. Personally,
Devin,
I don't believe it's right.
Devin,
But I think legally it should be okay.
So Devin, do you understand how do you understand how frustrating it is that what you're basically saying is that you get to decide
which story you feel good about?
Yeah, which one feels good to you personally in Tennessee? What happens to me in California? That makes no sense. And if you care about human life, the states that ban abortion or have abortion bans with exceptions, those are states that have higher mortality rates for pregnant women. So you care about human life, but this is a human life that is living, breathing, has a life. They have a job, they have a family, they have a partner, they have people who love and care about them, and you put their lives in danger because the reason that they want to abort a pregnancy, you are though. The reason that they want to abort a pregnancy is not acceptable to you, Devin.
Yeah,
I think
Devin,
that's crazy.
Abortion is very safe when done under the care of a doctor. Abortion will happen no matter what. So we don't want people being harmed by not having access to health care. But abortion is very safe.
Actually,
so I don't know why you're saying no to Alyssa.
Because I'm giving my point, and this is just facts. Like we can take it all as equal.
You don't get to just say your opinion and say it's a fact. You actually have to back your point. I'm only
going to give facts here, and if any of them are not facts, you can feel free to tell me where I'm wrong. But if you take the amount of aborted babies and we subtract the amount of the women that die during pregnancy, the amount of aborted babies is still higher. So,
but why are you prioritizing?
We've never said otherwise, Devin. That's not the point at all.
That's not the point. The point is that you're No, but you're prioritizing the life of something that cannot exist without the mother as a host. You're prioritizing that life over the life of the mother who is living, breathing, has community and a job.
Why can't it not exist?
Also, I'm so confused. You're a libertarian.
Because you can't have abortions. You can't have abortions past the point of when it's a viable pregnancy. That's not a thing. When people have abortions, these are not beings that can actually develop
survive
into
on their own.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would be a
And that's
live
my
birth and it would
disagreement.
not be an abortion.
But there's
Well,
nothing to
and that's
disagree
my
on.
disagreement.
Science. Sorry, Devin.
There's nothing to
That's actual
disagree
science.
on. That's just what it is.
Well, no, I'm not disagreeing with the fact that that is the case. I'm disagreeing with the premise that at the beginning, which is that it's okay to end the life of what I believe is a baby from the point of conception.
Why should
And
we
so,
care
like,
what
'cause
you
you have
believe
the-
about that? Devin, why should what you think about a fetus dictate what we can do with our bodily autonomy? Why in the world should I care
because
what you
that's
think
the
about
whole
that?
argument. That's the whole argument.
No,
Like,
it shouldn't be.
Is
It
this
shouldn't
right
be.
or
And
not?
honestly, what went wrong in the US is when we started entertaining these conversations and we literally lost bodily autonomy over it, because I do not give a shit if you think that a fetus is a valuable life or not. The
You
main
do
point is you
realize
have
that
no idea.
before-
I absolutely do not give a shit, because that's not what
You
matters
do
here.
realize
You don't
before-
have to get an abortion. You do not have to support somebody else getting an abortion. You can live your life the way that you want. But for you to say that you get to decide what someone else does with their body and what risks they put their own body at, that is disgusting. That is anti-freedom, which is hilarious
Okay.
that you call yourself a libertarian, because
I
you
know,
are
I keep
Because
literally
they
thinking
asking,
about
have the
that.
you are
freedom.
literally asking a woman
They-
to put her life at risk, to change her life, to go
I am
against her
not.
own bodily autonomy in order to carry what you find valuable. That is
let me
hilarious.
ask you
That is
this.
nothing but
Does
an
the woman-
emotional
does the
argument. That
woman-
is
No, that's
Devin, you
not
said you were going to
true.
bring facts. So here's my question for you.
Yeah.
Can you give
Does the
me
woman
some
have to have
facts?
sex?
That's not a fact, that's a question.
Devin, don't even fucking
just
start with me
asking.
on that. That it is her right to have sex. Having sex does not consent to being pregnant. And there are two people who are involved. So here's
I
a good
agree.
hypothetical for you. Here's a good hypothetical for you. If you had the option to have a mandatory vasectomy, or actually you wouldn't have an option. If we decided we could do mandatory vasectomies from the age of, let's say, 13, because in the United States, specifically in states that do not have sex education, there are children having sex as young as 13. So from the age of 13 to when you decide you want to have a child, you, Devin, would have a vasectomy, and then it's reversed when you want to have a child. If they knew for sure the
Yep.
vasectomy would be reversible, I'm going to put forth a
would it
bill.
save a
I'm going to
life?
put forth a bill. I'm going to put forth a bill, and that bill is going to be to make it mandatory for between 13
No,
and
Devin.
when you want to have children. And it would,
Would it
if you're
save
going
a
to start
human
the
life?
argument, Devin, if you're going to start the argument with, well, she didn't need to have sex. So women are just not supposed to have sex now. We can't enjoy having
That's not what
sex
I
now.
said. But there's a risk.
That's what you're implying.
There is a risk. No, I'm saying that there's a risk.
Of course there's a risk. But the risk is because a man ejaculated inside of her. That's what the risk is from. So why is it the woman who has to take on the result of the risk? She has to deal with the result of a risk, and a man does not.
I'm actually also for that if a woman does have a baby, that the father I'm not completely against. I'm actually for if the father should be equally responsible in that case, because he
We're not
is
having
equally
that
responsible.
conversation, Devin. We're talking about a person's autonomy over their own body, and if they should be legally forced to do things with it that they are not consenting to. Consenting to sex is not consenting to pregnancy, and it's certainly not consenting to carrying out an entire pregnancy and giving birth.
How do you have a child without having sex? Because I feel like it is consent. Like, I don't understand
It's
how
not.
that's not consent. The
What?
second
So
that you
every
have sex,
time-
you're giving
Is
yourself up the
driving a
option to have
car
child.
driving a car consenting to being in a crash and getting
Yes,
injured?
it is the consent to that
No,
risk.
it
It is
isn't.
the consent to that risk.
Devin
You can't
is
get
wearing
into
a
car
shirt
crash
is wearing a
without
short
driving a
skirt
car.
is wearing a short skirt past a creepy dude consent to being raped.
Absolutely, that's not because is it a risk of that? Yes, it's not consent for him doing
Oh,
that.
so you
It's
understand.
just
You
like-
understand the difference between risk and consent. Good job, Devin. You did it here. Now can we go back to the abortion argument and you can apply that there?
Right, please apply it, and you'll see how it falls apart.
Can you
Like,
not do it
because-
for yourself? I cannot hold your hand through this entire thinking process.
Okay, so what? So
If you have
if
a
we were
risk
trying
of
to not-
pregnancy, Devin, if you have risk of pregnancy, is that the same as consenting to it?
Is that the exact same? No, not in every case. But does the risk of pregnancy
Devin, you're being so
exist when
dishonest.
having sex? I'm not
We
being
didn't say the
dishonest.
risk doesn't exist. The risk absolutely exists. The risk to
So
pregnancy
why
exists,
should
and most people are doing
why
everything they can to avoid it. But you know what is a
well,
solution to
I
when
don't
it
know if
doesn't
that's
work?
true.
An abortion. An abortion is a solution to when the
And
risk,
then
unfortunately, occurs.
where I get frustrated is the fact that now someone else's life is now at risk because of a bad decision in many cases that both the
What
husband
you're
or non-husband, the
describing,
man and the woman made.
what you're describing, you could literally be describing my argument. This woman's life is at risk because of the decision of Devin in some fuck-ass state, and because two people decided to have sex, that woman's life could potentially be at risk. And when I say her life is at
But right,
risk,
but
I
not
mean,
just Devin's. Right, it's both. We both were
right,
consenting in that decision, whereas the baby had no consent in this
so
decision whatsoever.
but it's not a fully formed human being. It needs the mother to develop it in her body. So it's not, if you could pluck the child out and say, okay, we're taking this fetus out of her body, we're going to put it in an incubator and let it grow. Fine. You could do that if you want to do that. That's not available to you. That's not an option. It needs to grow in this person's body. You need
Also,
her
Well, then
body.
we'd be on the same page if we could figure that out. I'm
but
well
we
for
can't.
that. That
So
would be
so
great.
the
But we
solution is abortion.
can't.
But Devin, if you care so much about this child's consent, which apparently you suddenly do, you're like
I care about
advocating for
this
this.
child's
Hold on.
life.
If you care about this unborn child, the child didn't consent to being born. You just said that, right? So then you should be an antinatalist, and you shouldn't want any kid born. You should want them all aborted because none of them consented to being alive and to existing.
No, that's not what I said at all.
Devin,
I said he didn't consent to die.
Devin, I have
So,
to ask
yes,
you
am I
this.
against all child death?
They didn't
Yes.
consent to live either. You're unable to hear. You're not thinking through what you're saying because you're saying one thing, and then when I say let's apply this consistently to the way you think about other things, you're unable to do it. That is giving me a big red flag. It's something I want to ask a question because this seems to be a really emotional driven argument for you because we're not hearing facts. Are you religious?
Yes.
Okay, so is that why you believe that abortion is wrong? If we
No,
actually
I
get
actually
down
think
to
the
it.
Bible. I actually think the Bible actually talks about abortion in I don't even know, one of the first 4 books. So no, I think that that's overplayed by Christians and that don't actually understand their own book. And
So
so
do you think God
no,
is pro or anti-abortion?
he obviously talks about it in the first 4 books of the Bible, and there's like a poison that they give women to
It's the
abort
bitter
their babies.
waters. It's the bitter
Yeah,
waters, and that's in a
exactly.
very specific
Yes.
situation. But yes, but I'm asking you, do you believe that the God that you worship is pro or anti-abortion?
I think he's anti-abortion.
Okay, so do you think
But
maybe
I'm not
that
sure
might
it's
actually be why you have this emotional position that you can't actually defend with
no,
facts?
no, because I'm against a lot of things that I believe. Look, I'm not going to make my decision based off of any other person. I believe what I believe is right. It comes down to what I believe is right and wrong, and I value human life. Like, the nature of my argument is just the value of human life. Like, that's
If you
it.
valued human
And so,
life,
like,
then
that's
you would
why.
listen to the lives around you who are telling you that we would
Yes.
like to maintain this right over our own bodies, because it sets a precedent. If you start taking these rights away from us, they will take them from you too, Devin. They will. I don't
I
think you
completely
understand that
agree.
when
That's
you
why
can
I'm a libertarian. I
but
do
you're not a
understand.
consistent one. You're not a consistent one at all because you don't actually care about bodily autonomy, or else you would be advocating for women to
But
keep
do you
theirs.
know why? Are
Banning
you listening to
abortion
why I'm not
directly.
consistent?
Yes, we
Because it
hear what
affects
you're
human
saying.
life.
Do
Someone is
you
going to
think
die.
Yeah, but okay, I'm sorry. Hold on a second, because you keep saying this, and I just want to be clear that you understand that when someone is pregnant, the risks of being pregnant are also high. Like the health implications of being pregnant is no fucking joke. Like
I agree.
there are people who get gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, which can cause seizures, organ failure,
My sister had preeclampsia.
death. Okay, so you understand, this is no joke. You're not asking somebody to just, sacrifice a couple of months of their life, push out this baby,
Right.
put it in the
Right.
adoption
It's a
system, which by the
serious
way,
thing.
in the United States, right. So it's a serious thing. You're not asking somebody to go against their bodily autonomy and have a chocolate milkshake instead of vanilla when
I'm
that's what
not
they
asking
want.
them to do anything.
But you are. You're taking away their choice. So Devin, I'm sorry, just
No,
to
they had the
clarify,
choice when they
is the
had
choice
sex.
is what you're saying? What you're saying is, so women are now just supposed to not have sex at all because the risk of being pregnant is something that we should not take on whatsoever. So now all of you men who have been complaining for fucking years now that they're not able to get laid are going to have a much harder time because now, and honestly, actually, based on a survey that they did in 2025,
That's the reason.
That is the reason why many women
Right.
are not wanting to date. They are not wanting to have sex or put themselves out there. And this was specifically for a group of Gen Z women in a survey that was done of 4,000 people across the United States, across demographics. Gen Z women do not want to have sex and they don't want to date men because the risks are too high. Does that feel satisfactory to you? Does that seem like a free world to you? When the alternative is you could allow for this necessary medical option available to them. That is freedom.
Wouldn't that be nice? But that's not the nature of biology. The reason women don't give up their bodies as much as men.
Just say you don't trust women's decision making. You don't trust
That's
women.
not at all.
You
That's
think
not at
you think
all
that
true.
women.
That is
but
not
that's
all
what you're
true.
telling me. That's what you're telling
Well,
me.
listen
You
to what
don't
I'm
trust the
about to say.
decisions of women.
Devin, let's actually play this out. I had to have a medical abortion.
Okay.
I did it to save my own life. Do you think I made a bad decision?
I don't know all of the details. Do I agree? Do I agree with the decision? Probably not. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
I would have
I'm sure that's
literally
really
lost her
died.
life.
I would have literally died if I didn't. It was a wanted pregnancy. Actually, we were trying to get pregnant. It was a wanted pregnancy, and I would have died if I didn't have that abortion care. So
does that go against the nature of
crazy.
my life for a life like argument? Like it doesn't. Like
So
again, that's
Devin,
a really
what you are
specialized
proposing
case.
is that you sit on some throne and each woman comes to you and says, this is why I need an abortion. And you decide if it's actually worth it. Is it worth it if she's going to end up having this pregnancy? It's going to change her life for the worse. She ends up suicidal, takes her own life, and then has generations of kids after her that also suffer with mental health issues due to this trauma in their life. Like, are those lives all worth anything to you?
Yeah, but
You're not.
So one of my here's another
Devin,
story.
that's
One
the
of my
problem
friends
with the emotional
he was
argument, and
supposed to
that's
be aborted.
No,
Well,
no,
I'm going to
we're
give you
not
the
going
same
to do.
story. He was
I
supposed
don't
to be
give a shit
aborted, and
about
that-
your friend that was supposed to be aborted. I do not give a shit.
Then why should
Like,
I
that
give
has
a
nothing
shit
to do
about
with
anyone that
anything.
you're talking about?
But
He's
no,
here.
because it
Exactly my
matters.
point. But that's exactly my point, Devin, is that this anecdotal, I should have this, I should have that, and then you, Devin, should rule if it was a beautiful enough
I
story
don't
for you
want
to
to
be
deem Devin to
emotionally
rule.
compelled. That's why it doesn't, that's why your emotions about
I
this,
think-
how you feel
But
about
listen-
abortion, has nothing to do with anything. It comes down
Can
to
I
if
explain how
if
I
people
actually
should have
feel?
the right to make decisions about their own body or not. We
Here's
can give
what
you,
I believe.
I'll give you
Yeah,
30 seconds,
just
Devin,
need-
to make your case,
Perfect.
and then
100%
I'm
perfect.
gonna, Devin, let me lay out the ground rules. You can have 30 seconds to make your case. Maybe we'll have like a second or two each to respond, and then we're gonna move on to another caller because I think we've made our
100%
points.
perfect. So I believe that the nature of human biology, there's a reason that women are less likely to give up their sex than men. And it literally comes down to they know innately that the risk that they're taking more than men. And it's sad that that's the case, but that is human biology and it's how it works. And when we take away that risk completely, what we are seeing in this world is now people freely are having sex all of the time, which is leading to all of these dangers, leading to the mental difficulties that kids are having because they're not growing up with parents. And I don't think the answer is now to let people just freely have sex with no risk whatsoever.
Devin, people
I
are,
think the
first of all,
answer is-
I need you to, this is why I really wish that men would actually do like one sentence worth of reading before they call in. People are having less sex than ever before. It's actually like a problem. We're watching those rates drop like drastically.
Less than 100 years ago.
And also what's happening is
less than 100. No, this generation after
like
generation,
right now,
each generation is having less sex than the one before it. This in the past 2 years, we have actually reached, this is good news. We've actually reached a point where there are more women having children after the age of 40 in this country than teenagers. That is recent because teenagers are not having sex.
Realizing the risk.
It's because women are having their bodily rights.
Devin,
yes, they understand the risk.
They're having their rights taken away from them.
Yes,
and also, people are being educated and empowered more to make decisions and to delay certain decisions till later in life. That's a great thing. That's why education, that's why healthcare, and that's why being empowered to make decisions over your own body are all really important things that help people make better choices over time.
You guys are extremely intelligent and really understand your arguments. I really do. I think you guys are amazing in what you're doing, and I think that it's all coming from a good place. I just happen to disagree on this front. Because of my value, we disagree at the fact that I think a baby is a human life.
You can think that we're the dumbest people in the world, and that's
I don't think you're dumb. I think you're very intelligent.
I know. My point is, I don't care. It's not about intelligence.
That's okay.
You're making an emotional argument. I need you to examine that because what you are doing is actually putting lives at risk based off of your emotional position. I want to let Alyssa finish, and then we'll let you go.
But here's the thing, Devin. If you want to personally advocate for things like sex education that is comprehensive, medically accurate in every single state, because we know that does contribute to fewer teenage pregnancies, and also I think then people can have planned pregnancies. They understand how it works. If you want to advocate for that, absolutely do it. If you even want to personally advocate for abortion being the wrong choice, you are absolutely free to do that. You could stand outside Planned Parenthood with signs all you want, all the livelong day. The problem is when you make it a legal constraint. That's where we have a problem because you are leaving the decision making in the hands of pretty much exclusively men who will never experience the thing that they are making a law about. And you are putting it in their hands to make a decision on behalf of other people who are going to be living that reality.
Yeah, because they're not voted into office.
I mean, they aren't voted into office,
like the heart of the
but
problem.
No, the heart of the problem is you need to allow for the freedom of people to have that option available to them. Because what ends up happening is you have situations like promises where there are also people who wanted to have that child and are not able to do so. So now if they are in a state that has but if they are in a state where even if there is a ban on abortion with exceptions, many doctors are scared of losing their license and will not perform.
In Tennessee. Yes. Which is where you're calling in from, which is where I had to move from due to my ongoing medical issues from that situation.
That's what I'm saying.
It sounds like an agreement could be made.
Yeah, it's called Let Women Make Choices about their own bodies.
Let women make choices because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to go case by case and make a moral argument for each case. Even if you look at it from the perspective of many times when, like, this is like bottom of the barrel, how I think that this can be proposed to someone like you, Devin, who has a moral exception to this. The very baseline, I don't mean bottom of the barrel, I mean baseline. The baseline is in the event that a person needs the abortion because it risks her life and the baby will also die. And they're in a state where there's a ban on abortion, even with the exceptions. You're risking now two lives. You need to just allow for this to be available to people. You just have to. It's part of your personal freedom, but it also allows for um the mother's life to not be in danger either. This choice
I think that that's fair. I think
banning
that's
abortions. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to personally
I think it's a fair
advocate
argument.
if you want to personally advocate for people to not have abortions, I don't have a problem with you doing that on like a personal level because that's what this country, allows for, and you're allowed to have whatever opinion you want. If you want to advocate for every person that you even personally know, like whatever, you can do that, but it needs to be legally available to people because you cannot leave this sort of gray area that puts the mother's life in danger.
I think that that's a completely fair argument. Obviously, I disagree because, again, my value of the baby is is at an equal point of the human mother. Because some of those babies are women, right? And so, like, it's not that I hate women, like, at all.
But they're not.
It's just
But
that I
they're
have a
not.
different
They're not
value
fully
stream.
formed. They can't live outside of the mother. So you need, if you want that mother to
And
be
that's
able
the
to.
disagreement.
Yeah, I
But
think
that's not a
Devin, we're gonna.
disagreement.
That's where we
That's
disagree.
science. That's
Yeah,
not a dis.
No,
There's
I
nothing to
don't disagree with
disagree.
you, Devin.
I got my master's in biology. I understand the science.
I don't
So,
don't
like,
care that
we
you got
don't-
your master's in
and-
biology because you are misunderstanding the point at which people have abortions. I
I think I
what you
understand very
learned,
clearly. I just disagree.
but you don't. But there's nothing to
I
disagree
do.
on. At the point where people are having abortions, that is not a viable pregnancy. You have this image in your head that they're cutting open someone's belly and taking out a fully formed baby and throwing it in the trash.
No, I
That's
don't
not
think
how it
they're fully
works.
formed. I'm saying that sadly there are many cases where the baby did not need to die. It would have grown up and lived an amazing life, but the person just didn't want to
Yeah,
take on
Devin,
the
you're
responsibility.
just back to it's hilarious the assertion that you call in with facts, and you're back to the emotional argument. So we're gonna let you go and move on to somebody else. I think
Sounds
you should
good.
go back
Thank
and
you,
listen
guys.
to some of our points. Thanks, Devin.
I
Bye-bye.
will. Thank you.
Bye, Devin.
I cannot do emotional arguments for men about abortion. It's just
It's also
wild. Sorry,
only
there's way better callers that we've got online on hold now, so I'd rather get to them.
it drives me actually insane that from the time we started Chewed Gum, I have only had a call about abortion with one woman. One.
I remember that.
We've done well over 100, maybe 150 of those shows by now. One single time has a woman called in and said that women should not have access to abortion. Every fucking time it is a man. And why do you think that is? Like, even based on that alone, like, how can they not like look at the landscape of that conversation and say, something seems weird about that?
Yeah, I mean, they can't view women outside of this idea that they're this object that's supposed to carry forth, hopefully, more men.
Right.
And so it's just about control, and it's emotional. It's purely emotional.
Yeah.
Devin is
So crazy.
calling himself a libertarian.
That's
which
crazy.
My libertarian friends would laugh at this because at least one of the few things my libertarian friends and I can agree on is abortion. And then I guess is a biologist. Is that what he ended up saying?
He says he has a master's in biology, but that doesn't mean anything because you can have a master's in biology that has nothing to do with the time frame in which a person has an abortion, unless you are
bodily
literally
autonomy. Yeah,
right.
Unless you've specialized in that as a doctor.
Right, exactly. That's not how that works. Unfortunately, there's a limit to which you will learn to have a master's in biology. Like, and also having a master's in biology doesn't make you a doctor. So you can see the limits of what you have learned.
Yeah, it's wild.
So.
Well, technically, the show wraps in just a few minutes, but I think we can get another call or two in. We had a caller who said that it's women that behave like us are why women shouldn't have equal rights, and then he dropped, so I guess he wasn't actually willing to defend that point. Do you see another one of these that you really specifically like?
Let's see. I don't know. Well, I don't know. You can decide.
We kind of just did the abortion thing.
I know.
I think this one is a troll, the top one. Do we want to
yeah.
take it real quick and then
Yeah, we can
and then move
squash
on
it.
to the other ones? Okay. Hello, you're talking to Promise and Alyssa. What did you want to talk with us about today?
Oh, this is me. I thought I was still listening. I'm sorry. How you doing? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Are you driving right now?
Yeah, I'm in the car. I'm not
Okay.
driving. I'm focused.
You'll have to. You're what?
I say I'm focused. I'm not driving. I'm just riding.
You're focused.
Oh, he's
so you're
not. He's
driving.
not. He's not driving. He's
Yeah.
riding. Steering the passenger seat.
But he said he's
No, we're
focused.
not taking that risk. We're dropping.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the car.
Yeah, you'll have to call back another time when we can tell that you're not driving or not tell that you're driving. The voice of God came through.
Okay, so do you want to do like, I don't know.
Let's chat with David, I guess.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Hey, David, you are chatting with Alyssa and Promise. It says here you think that MAGA does not hate women. Can you explain your position? David, are you there?
David, if you called on a web caller, you might need to tap your phone so that it's awake. Hello?
All right, we're going through the calls pretty quickly. If you want to, here, I'll return him to queue in case we can get him later.
Trash is taking itself out.
I know. You sound so clear. It sounds like you're right here with us. It's kind of scary.
I'm covering while Luthien gets a snack, and then I'm going back to what I was doing.
Ooh, snacky. Nice. Jealous.
Okay, well, then I guess we try to talk. Oh, that person went away too. Okay, let's chat with Michael. It just says, Michael says, I'm against it. I'm not sure what you're against, but you're talking to Promise and Alyssa.
Hey, Michael.
Hey guys. I hope you're having a great day.
Thanks, likewise.
Just calling. I first off, I want to say real quick, Promise, I'm really sorry you had to go through that. That's horrible. But
thanks. Luckily, all's well that ends well. And I was able to get some, decent health care at the time. It would not be the same if that happened to me now and not, how many years ago was that? Like 7 or 8. But Michael, what did you call in to talk with us about today?
A huge fan, Promise. Real quick, I'm going to be real quick. I think you made a statement that science has now caught up with when you said if the baby can be plucked out and transplanted. There's what's called artificial wombs now. I don't know if you were aware of that. So there are like over 1 million people waiting for newborn babies every year. They specifically want newborns. And now abortion doesn't have to be a problem. Science is catching up to it. So they actually can take the fertilized egg, plant it into a artificial womb, let it grow, as you said, and then adopt the baby out. So
I have heard nothing about that. So I would have to actually go learn about whatever this is to know my thoughts on any of it.
It's deeply experimental. So it's not something that is like available to people right now. And I think if that is something that is available, it also sounds like it would be extremely expensive. It almost sounds like it would be like a luxury service than it would be the thing that you do if you want to like save the life of the fetus or like grow that fetus.
Yeah, I can't. Prospective parents would gladly pay to get a newborn baby. Some of them have been waiting for years.
But Michael, is this what you called in to talk about? Because I'm going to be honest, I'm not interested in this call because I know nothing about whatever experimental thing this is that's clearly not being implemented in any real way right now.
Real quick question, then I'll let you guys go. Would you be for that if it became in the next year or two?
That was the answer to your question. I just said I don't know anything about it, so I would have to know a lot more about it other than just you reporting some fantastical sounding thing. So I don't have an answer for you because I don't know anything about this.
Gotcha. All right.
All right.
That's
Thanks,
it. I
Michael.
just wanted to have a good night.
You too.
Hi,
Bye-bye.
Michael.
Michael sounds an awful lot like another caller that I think has been banned, but maybe I'm
Oh,
remembering
interesting.
incorrectly.
I also like, again, it's this community of people will do anything to take away women's ability to just be like, I don't want to have this pregnancy. I don't want to have this thing alive. It's not, I don't want to grow it. I don't want my cells to be a part of it. Like there's going to be, if this artificial womb thing exists, it's kind of like if you were to be a sperm donor, you have to donate your sperm. You know that there's going to be some like being out there that has your sperm. Same thing with being an egg donor. Like you opt into that procedure. And to do this artificial womb thing, it like, what are you going to force women to do that?
Yeah.
And then
I mean, that's what it would turn into. That is why I know there's so many good arguments for abortion, and I love all of yours. But that's why I keep going back to mine as well, the bodily autonomy thing, because the repercussions of taking that away and the impact it can have on everyone and the government's control over people's bodies when it comes to things other than being forced to carry a pregnancy. They can start forcing you to not carry a pregnancy if they decide that they can. There's so many other consequences that can happen, and so that's why that bodily autonomy line to me is so big. And then we don't have, like, Devin wants to just sit there and be the god of abortion and decide which story is more compelling. Oh, well, that one was like, he started off saying, what was it? Only in the case of rape, but then he was okay with mine.
Right.
But then, so it's like there's no consistency whatsoever. How do you put that into law?
This is why it's like, if I can get people like Devin to cross the line of this needs to be legally accessible to people, because each circumstance is going to be so different and each circumstance is potentially life-threatening to the mother. So you need to allow this to be legally available to them and take the criminalization off the table. Like, there are like I don't understand. If I can get people like that to cross the line of, at a minimum, this needs to be legally available, and then you personally can advocate for whatever you want because it's a free country. I'll disagree with you still, but you can advocate for whatever you want. But to legally make it not available to people as a medical procedure is completely inappropriate and an overreach of the law. So
Agreed.
crazy.
Do we want to take this last caller just super quick before we wrap the show? Okay, sorry guys, it's midnight my time, so I start turning into a pumpkin. Let's talk to another Michael. Hey, Michael, you're talking to Promise and Alyssa.
Hey guys, I'm like, what, your third Michael today?
I know. We are rich with Michaels today.
We're going to try to keep your call as short as possible. So do you want to just let us know your main question that you had?
Yeah, I know it's late for you guys, so I'll be quick. So I used to be MAGA. It's not a very proud time of my life, but I met this wonderful gender study professor in college, and she really helped me come out of my shell. But I also feel like I was partly the product of the environment I was raised in. So I worry a lot for my younger brothers because they're being raised in the same environment. I was wondering if you guys had any advice on how I could maybe steer them down a more, I'm obviously not going to turn them into leftists overnight, but maybe just down a more moderate road. I've tried, talking to them about facts and philosophy, and the direct route just doesn't really seem to work. So you guys have any advice for anything a bit more subtle?
Honestly, I'd be asking you. Like, I feel like you would actually probably know. So what part of I'm curious what part of what your gender studies professor shared with you that like what was the journey for you?
She helped me learn to be more patient with myself. And that sounds kind of strange, but even in college, I felt a lot of guilt for the views that I held or for the views that I thought I had to hold. And she helped me really come to an understanding about myself, and that really just helped me open my eyes and broaden my horizons, so to speak.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Alyssa.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say this might not be exactly helpful to hear, but for me, so I have 3 younger siblings, and they're probably older than your younger siblings just based off of your age. But I've had to just let go of that idea that I will change their mind about stuff. I've had to let go of that responsibility, which is really hard to do as the oldest. It's very difficult, but that's something I've had to really, move on from, because I think it's one of the least likely ways that people end up changing their minds, at least from what I've seen. With family, I think it's more about just building good relationships and connections so that if they ever do want to approach you about something, that they can. As far as any like subtle stuff, you can always just approach them with curiosity and ask them a lot of questions. Why do you think that? What made you believe that? Why do you think that's true? Those kinds of things. But I would also recommend on really letting go of the responsibility of changing their mind, because it's probably their own journey that they're going to have to go on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does, and I've thought about that. I'm not like trying to be the hero or anything. It's just I care about them, and it breaks my heart that one day I might have to, just cut them out of my life because we just can't reach. And I know that's an extreme, but it's kind of the logical continuation of the thought, I guess.
That's for me why I figured out that we weren't going to be able to come to an agreement at least anytime soon. It doesn't seem like that. And so I had to decide, do I care more about that, or is there enough connection, like healthy relationship otherwise, that I can put that to the side for now and just focus on good relationship with them instead. It was like I kind of had to pick one. And so for me, and I don't think this should be everyone's choice, probably most people, it shouldn't be their choice, but for me, I have a family that's emotionally intelligent enough, they respect boundaries enough that I chose relationship, and I'd rather that continue than me push my ideas and my thoughts out there. But that being said, you're the one that knows your family best. You're the one that knows what kind of conversations you can have and your own limits.
Yeah, I think also one of my favorite phrases is to lead with curiosity and not judgment. And I think that you have a really you have a special perspective on this, because you have some background as to like what is the feeling that is creating that situation for your family members. Like, is it fear? Is it a lack of information? Is it like feeling like they're losing power in the situation, and like this sort of like equality feels like oppression to people who've never felt it before, like that sort of dynamic. I think leaving the door open for people that you love and care about to be back and forth with the curiosity of it all. Like what is creating the situation for them? What is creating this situation for you? Because ultimately, like, not to be like a little tree hugger about it, but like we're all every person thinks that they're making a decision that is best for themselves and their family and their community, whatever community means to them. So I think that even in the circumstance of like you see a MAGA person and you're like, well, that person is blatantly racist and horrible and whatever. I think for them, their community is themselves and maybe like their immediate family, like their partner, maybe. But I think that they're acting in the best interest of who they believe their community is. And so I think part of it is like broaden the community that they are willing to protect, and be curious about what that looks like for them now and how you can encourage them to expand it a little bit more. Like, yeah, I think leaving the door kind of open. Every person that I know or that I've seen who's transitioned away from MAGA did it in partnership with a person who was not derogatory to them, who was allowing them to be curious and to explore. So I feel like to the best of your ability, because I mean, you're 24, you're figuring out like stuff for yourself as well. Like you're living your own life. And so don't feel like you have to take it all upon yourself. But yeah, that's my thought.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, I hope that was helpful, Michael. But also, you should be so proud of yourself. That's
it's amazing.
I know you said you're embarrassed, and I cringe looking back on my evangelical days. I was obsessed with Sarah Palin and trying to tell everybody to vote for her because I couldn't and because I wasn't old enough. And yeah, it was really, really bad. So it happens to the best of us. But what's cool is that you changed your mind. So really, really proud of you. And keep that ability to change your mind when presented with better information. It will serve you well.
Do my best. It is kind of like what you said, though. I attribute it mostly to the people I had around me.
Yeah. So I think just being like everything Alyssa said was perfect, because just be that person, basically. I think that's your best bet at changing anybody's mind, really.
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks so much, Michael. We're going to let you go, but thanks for that call. And call us back sometime if you have any updates or if you have some kind of interesting conversation with one of your siblings or anything that you want to share. We'd love to hear.
Will do. Thank you guys for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Michael. At least we got to end it with a nice Michael.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the end of our show. We're not sending you, right? We're not sending them over to any other show.
No, not today.
Was that you or was that Luthien?
I think it was both.
It was both. We said it at the same time.
We all sound the same.
Next time, I think we should harmonize, and then we'll have a really nice,
we'll
a beautiful, perfect. But yeah, I think we're sending you guys off into the sunset for today, and I don't know if are we doing a bonus show?
I was just about to say, wait, it's Tuesday, so aren't you doing?
If you
but
guys
that's
want
tomorrow.
to off air for the Patreons.
Cool.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go film a bonus show, so you are gonna want to head over to Patreon for that. We don't know what we're gonna do yet, but it'll be great.
But we'll figure it out. And if you're watching this right now and you've not watched Chewed Gum and you liked the conversations that we had today, these are exactly the conversations that we have over on Chewed Gum every single Tuesday night. And so you can check us out tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern time, which I still always say the Eastern time, even though I live on the West Coast. But in any case, we have a good time over there too.
Do it. Okay, everybody, that's the show. Tell our producer thank you and that she's the best, because she is. So
yeah, we love her. We love her.
We should have more girly girl shows like this. Also, my eyes are just like itching so bad. I think I'm having allergies.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I want to like take my eyeballs out and put them in a glass of water. Hate it.
That sounds like something that would be nice to do.
Right? All right. Well, love you. Bye.
That's the show. Love you guys.
Bye.